Good evening. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Jefferson County Board of Education on Monday, January 27th, 2020. And do we have somebody to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight?
We do. This evening is Driswood Elementary's 10th year. It's kind of hard to believe. And we each year, part of our student council initiative is that they take on leadership roles within our building. Also in the job description is coming to do the pledge to represent our school. So each of these gentlemen, we have Aiden Heaton, who's our president. Derek Carper is a classroom representative. And Michael Wright is our, ready Mr. Fogel?
I am.
He's you in about 10 years or so. He's our public relations officer. He rivals me every day on the announcements. I'll turn around and he's there and he's got his script and he's so wonderful. I'm like, maybe you should just do them all. So, and then Sari McDonald's here and she's our co-sponsor and she just wanted to share a little bit about what they're doing this year.
So these young men have been fantastic this year. They've helped with our Caring for Community Drive, where we got donations from all the students in the school, and they helped go to each classroom and collect donations from all the students. And then they've also started a marker drive, recycling markers and crayons in the school. And then they'll also be part of a junior leadership summit in Washington, D.C. this year, along with several other members of the student council. So we're very proud of them.
Excellent. Please join us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right around the back. Perfect. Thank you. And with great hair. Thank you this evening.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Have your people call my people.
All right. Mr. Fogel, One Jefferson Awards.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate this opportunity, as always, to recognize the remarkable achievements of the men and women who share their time, talent, and treasure as employees of Jefferson County Schools. We've been reminded, especially lately, that with all the ins and outs and the stresses of life, that the number one priority for our folks remains our students, and then supporting one another as a staff. Wanted to also this evening recognize some of the folks who volunteer their time for us as part of this. I'm going to start off with our service award this year for the One Jefferson, or this month, excuse me, from C.W. Shipley, Pam Fravel. She is severely ill and chose not to infect the rest of us, but her principal, Dawn Jones, is here to say a few words about her in her absence and receive this on her behalf. And we'll invite her to a future meeting so she can come and be recognized in person. But
Thanks.
Dr. Jones? Tyler, thank you. Why am I doing Jones?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Jones is not
No.
in my repertoire. Hi, good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity tonight. And I'm sorry that Pam's not here. She is sick, just like many are right now. I nominated Pam because our secretary, our long-standing secretary who runs our school, was out for nearly 2 months, and Pam took on so many additional responsibilities. She learned, even though she's been there for more than a decade, during the last 3 months has learned new systems that she never had to learn before. She came in early, stayed late, crossed every T, dotted all the I's, and it certainly is a team atmosphere. So I was thrilled when Hans called, and so she sends her regrets, but I'll get her here another month.
I'll get your name right.
So is this for her?
It is.
Thank you very much.
Dawn Jones is the medical director at Shenandoah.
Okay, I'm not her.
I know. It's a compliment, though, believe me. Also this evening, we will recognize our Professional One Jefferson Award for the month from Harpers Ferry Middle School. Judy Heimerlich and Principal Eric Mandel is here to say a few words. Make sure this is Judy. It is. I'll trade you.
Sometimes when we do that pledge at night, it freaks me out, like the day's starting over again. A hard time with that. But anyway, when I was informed that Miss Hemmelrick was going to receive this award, I couldn't have been more happy for her. One of the great rewards that we have as administrators and educators in general is to get to see our students succeed and go on to bigger, brighter things. But it's also nice sometimes when we see the absolute best and the brightest that our county has to offer be rewarded, because there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, and there's a lot of work and there's a lot of struggle, and so it can be tough, especially in today's climate. So when you have an employee like Miss H, I mean, she's such a good person. She genuinely cares. She embodies the Harpers Ferry spirit, but she works tirelessly on things like our scheduling, James Rumsey Mobile Career Van, visits to the Washington and Jefferson High School, organizing those orientation visits. We're going to be taking a trip to the Blue Ridge Technical Center and James Rumsey Institute for our 8th graders. We do a Shepherd College trip and the list goes on, career day. So not only is she there for the day in and day out business of helping our students and dealing with all the multitude of issues that they have, and sometimes part-time kind of raising a couple of them, and, but she's also deeply invested in their future. And she's one of the absolute best. She's a good friend to me, and I just can't say enough good things about her. I did want to real quick bring up Miss Miranda, who also was instrumental in kind of recognizing Miss H, and I call her Miss H because sometimes that gets hard to say, as Hans struggled with it, but anyway, sorry, Hans. But she'd like to say a few words too, so.
You probably should have compared notes, because he actually said most of what I was going to. But this is my first year in an administrative role, and I cannot tell you how much Miss H has helped me. She's just been super supportive with not only me, but the students, and it's just awe-inspiring to see the kids come back and just want to see her, and they light up when they see her. So she's just a huge part of our school. So that's why I nominated you. Please don't hurt me.
So Miss H, will come up and have the award here. And it does have your name and everything else on it there. There you go. Awesome.
Thank you.
Love you.
Where am I headed?
Right in between Dr. Walker and Reese. One, two, three.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Hans.
Thank you. And our volunteer recognition this month received 8 different nominations from folks within her school. Her school is Shepherdstown Elementary, and I'd like to invite Principal Nancy McManus up to recognize Shauna Jones.
Good evening, everyone. It is my honor to have this lady here beside me this evening. This lady, Shauna Jones, works unbelievably hard for the students of Shepherdstown Elementary and the community. She single-handedly will decorate for any event that we have in the school. We just had a mother-son event Friday night. I can't tell you the number of games she created, the decor that she made. She's always there for the students. She's always there if I need a hand, and she's always there for the staff. But more importantly, she does it for the love of children, and that speaks volumes. So it's my honor to have her here this evening. But because there was 8 nominations, I'd like to bring up one of my teachers, Casey Frazier, to say a few words.
Congratulations. Thank you. Good evening. I was one of the 8 people who nominated Ms. Jones for a variety of reasons. Since her son, who is now in 3rd grade, Colton, came into our school in kindergarten, she has been a constant face in our building. She has read to the students on a weekly basis. She has taught them a variety of different special events activities. She has provided supplies in the classrooms for special events activities. She has, like Mrs. McGannis said, she has decorated for a variety of different events that she also not only decorated for them, but she designed and organized and implemented those events that we've never had before. And also, I'd be remiss if I did not include her behind-the-scenes husband, who comes in and even went as far as to climb a not-so-sturdy ladder to string lights in our gymnasium. So we are enormously happy to have someone like Shauna Jones supporting our school, and we cannot thank her enough for everything that she does.
Thank you.
Recognition of Jefferson County Schools.
Thank you very much.
Like that. And you need to go over there and get your photo. Thank you.
We'll invite all 8, but figure. 1, 2, 3. One more. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That concludes the One Jefferson presentation. Apologize for the botched names. Upward and onward in February. Thank you.
Now we have a presentation on Relay for Life.
I believe that Ms. Bobble is here.
Yes.
With some hardware! Woo! So, good evening. My name is Heather Fauble, and I am the event lead at Jefferson County Relay for Life, but I am also a proud member of the Jefferson County School staff at Washington High School, and a student graduate from Jefferson County Schools as well. So I would like to come tonight with our first presentation to sum up the 2019 school year. So you guys all have these figures in front of you and extra forms and stuff, but our first certificate that we'd like to give out is to recognize Jefferson County Schools and thank them for being our 6th place event nationwide, raising $30,884.09. So please. And Derek is going to present. Derek is not only is he part of Driswood, but he is our youth event leadership chair at Jefferson County. So if you can take that over to Dr. Gibson and give her certificate and small goodie bags. So
Thank you very much, sweetheart. I'm usually the one handing these out. Oh, you gotta do it in your left hand so that you can take it with your right. There you go. Oh, sorry. And you gotta smile.
you gotta shake your hand and smile. He's like, I got the smile thing down.
You gotta go to like superintendent's training school, but you got it.
Additionally, tonight we have Kim Walls in the back. She was an individual nationwide winner in the top 10 nationwide with her fundraising efforts, and she's with Team TA. So now we have our hardware. So this is the trophy that will be displayed in our top fundraising school, and it has all of our school teams listed there and the amounts that they raised the past year. And we are very excited to award this to T.A. Lowry with $5,299.39. So the TA.
So good to see you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So we used to push that we would have all of our school teams involved, and then we started looking at our support teams. That's our board office, our transportation department, our maintenance department. And so our top support team this past year was the Jefferson County Transportation Department. The pedal pushers was $794. Additionally to raising money in 2019, we ask all of our teams to get involved with fundraisers to build their spirit throughout the year, and also the night of relay, where they're asked to stay up for 12 hours and actually participate, but most of them are there for 16 to 18 hours with all of the setup. So we have 2 school spirit sticker winners. Our secondary school, who's not here in form other than me tonight, is the Washington High School Patriots for a Cure. And our elementary team, if they can come up, Paige Jackson Elementary. Candace Sinclair. And both of these ladies really do stay the entire night. Not everybody sticks it out, but they're ones that are there for 16 to 18-hour events. Additionally, North Jefferson Elementary had the Mr. Relay winner this year. And for our fundraising challenge was, how many miles can your school donate to fight against cancer? And Dr. Gibson graciously participated with us last year. And her animal this year, or that year that she got to kiss, was a donkey. And she got to do that at Shepherdstown Elementary School. They were our winners.
Better than the pig. I mean, I hate that I've had all this experience that I can make comparisons, but I gotta be honest. I'm just saying, who knew?
Additionally, we have our youth leadership team. As I said earlier, Derek is here as a representative. Our honorary cancer survivor last year was a senior at Washington High School, Sierra Godfrey. And we have 8 to 10 other members that are also part of our youth leadership team, and they meet once a month, and we can never get them to leave. Our meetings are supposed to be an hour, and 2 hours into it, we're like, okay, you guys have school tomorrow, it's time to wrap it up. But very passionate, very excited for the future of Relay from our youth leaders. Additionally, we'd like to thank the Transportation Department and TA Lowry. Last year we got into a little bit of a bind with Jefferson needing to have their track finished, so we were able to switch over very quickly, and the principal, Kristen Martin, was phenomenal to work with, and the Jefferson County school system. Also, the maintenance department, they came out the day of the event and helped pull out different materials and transport tables and chairs, and so just again, thank you to the Jefferson County schools. So we are heading into, and I've already kicked off our 2020 year. So right now, our Jefferson County schools have already raised $6,169, and it's January the 27th. So phenomenal feat already that they're heading toward. Almost all of our school teams are on, and if they're not, we're working with them to try to get them registered. Additionally, we had some of the staff. We all know that teaching obviously puts many extra hours, but they go above and beyond to come and do additional activities to raise money for the American Cancer Society. So we had staff from Washington, Harpers Ferry, Charlestown Middle, Paige Jackson, and Shepherdstown Elementary came in on a Saturday morning for a Relay University for just schools to let us know what their needs were and how we could support the school teams. So I think that speaks volumes for the staff that we have in Jefferson County that is willing to give up their time to do a community service project within our community. So on here we have some upcoming events that Dr. Gibson has kicked off with us, and we also have one of our principals here tonight, and so we're going to do a little presentation. On February the 6th, February the 2nd, one of the things that came out of that Relay University was that we wanted to have an education component along with the fundraising. And so Ms. Schaefer had kicked off at Paige Jackson a Sunday night read on Facebook, and an author who is also a cancer survivor had just released her book written about Oliver, who is on a journey for hope. So it fit the entire purpose. So on February the 2nd, Nicole Schaefer is going to do a live read on Facebook, and we're going to share it out to kick off. And then on February the 4th, which is World Cancer Day, we are encouraging every school within Jefferson County, the board office, the transportation department, and the maintenance department to do some kind of fundraiser for that day to signify that they are joined together as a Jefferson County school community. So at this time, we would like to have our author, Penny Horner, present Nicole Schaefer with Oliver's Magical Journey.
You want to keep yours?
I'm keeping mine. You don't get to give mine away.
Thank you so much for reading. I wrote this with a purpose. There's a couple great characters of this book. Number one being my mother. She passed away from colon cancer, and she was an elementary school nurse. So this touches near and dear to my heart, and the faces of all 7 of my grandchildren are in this book as well.
Awesome.
So I hope the students love it. I hope you love it, and I hope this encourages our youth to read.
Absolutely. Thank you
So
so
thank
much. That
you.
was amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So February the 2nd.
And I'll be doing it early because I do realize it's the Super Bowl. So I've already planned around that, so you don't have to panic.
So the flyer that was sent out said 7 p.m. and what's in there says 7 p.m. but we will be making adjustments because we don't obviously want to have that conflict going on. Plus, because it'll already be on Facebook, it's going to be live and you can share it at any time after that. So it's on their Facebook PTO page for those of you that are Facebook users. Additionally, the last thing that I want to talk about is Dr. Gibson is on board again with us. This year, not kissing any animals, but instead, she has decided that she is going to get pied by the principal that raises the most money, like the school that raises the most money, and that will be in the month of May. And so, additionally, the principal will get to pie Dr. Gibson, and then Miss White. And I'm going to throw you out there, Mr. Dilly. I never got an email back, but I'm going to say, and Mr. Dilly have decided that they are also going to be pied in the face for our 2nd and 3rd place schools as well. So, again, thank you so much for your support and participation. And again, our relay is June the 13th and 14th at TA Lowry, and we hope that we see you guys there. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Heather. And where can we buy tickets for the May event?
Online. We'll do it online. We'll get it all set up.
And if we bring our own pie, can we get in line too?
If that's what you want.
That's gonna be a long line. Be prepared for a wait. That's all.
That sounds like a
It'll be like
best
Disney
fundraiser
World
ever.
wait time, 45 minutes.
That sounds like a great fundraiser for you. You can start charging people to buy you. So, thank you all once again.
Thank you.
That's a waste of good pie. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you. One that gets to taste it.
Well, Dr. Gibson, between the JROTC Shoe and Coat Fund last meeting and the Relay for Life this meeting, I really can't wait to see what you have for us next meeting.
Me neither. Now, there's always plenty of good things going on in Jefferson. I could bring you 10 of them every single meeting. Every single meeting.
It's countywide, not just school-wide, so that's great.
Absolutely.
And Madam Superintendent, do you have any comments this evening?
No, ma'am. I think the kids speak for themselves.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held January 13th, 2020? Second? Any comments or adjustments? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. All right, citizens' comments. We have just one this evening? All right, Mr. Schmidt? And just a reminder that you're limited to 3 minutes this evening. Okay, perfect.
Thank you for having me. My name is Jim Schmidt, and I live in Shepherdstown. I'm also a member of the LSIC at Shepherdstown Elementary and a few other organizations in town. What I am here to address tonight is the need for a new school in Shepherdstown, a new school building, at least for the elementary school and the middle school. The county has purchased the land, we know that. I'm trying to keep this train rolling. In order to do that, I know the county needs a lot of money and to float a bond. And the timing for the vote on the bond that I would like to see done in May, along with the primary, to have the most voter turnout could be now to start the ball rolling. I understand you need 90 days to do this. I don't want you to delay. I don't want you to delay in going after that objective instead of waiting. I also would like you not to include the social emotional school on that bond. And that's purely so that the other two schools, Ransom and Shepherdstown, can be built with the bond money, because the debacle or fiasco that created with the eminent domain with Rockwool, which I'm not getting into, has left such a bad taste in the voters' mouth, the people who I talk to, and I know a lot of people in that end of the county that are very soured because of that. I'm not saying we don't need a social, emotional facility in this county. I know we do. But at this time, I think the social and emotional student hopefully is being taken care of out of state. I know it costs us money, but we sorely need to start the physical ball rolling for the construction of these two schools, at least to get the elementary schools off the ground. And for voting in the primary, hopefully this primary coming up in May, I would leave it to the school board to educate the public on the needs for these two schools. This county is notorious for passing the bonds, and that's a good thing. But I don't want the Rockwool incident to stop that, and it could. And that would be a real black eye for everybody. Thank you very much for hearing me. Good evening.
All right, consent agenda. Any changes or?
I don't have a change. I do, however, have two announcements to make, or welcomes to make. One, as you well know, we have been without a transportation director since we hired Ms. White as the deputy superintendent. And previous to her, we went for an entire year without a transportation director. We all know how valuable that position is. And if you saw our Facebook and our website not too long ago, we put out some information about our need to hire the best, because your children deserve the best, and that's absolutely our transportation department. So we needed to find somebody pretty extraordinary to lead them, and quite frankly, I think we have. I'd like for everyone to welcome Mr. J.R. Holland. Stand up. Mr. Holland is actually a West Virginia native. I didn't know you were from Buchanan, or yeah. I don't know that interview would have gone the same way. But he's a Buchanan boy, and got his bachelor's degree from American Intercontinental University in IT. So he can also reprogram some of the computers out there if we need that. He's a Renaissance man. And Lucky Us has 16 years in being a transportation director, and quite frankly, more importantly, during the interview process, we were all overwhelmingly impressed by his manner and how he treats people and how well he fits into the culture here, and we are absolutely thrilled to welcome J.R. Holland. So thank you. You brought somebody with us. It's a family business, so if you could introduce your family, that'd be great.
I brought my wife, Melissa Holland. She's principal at Hedgesville Elementary in Berkeley County. And our little one, Audrey, she's in 2nd grade at Hedgesville Elementary. And then our oldest, Blake, he's in 4th grade at Tomahawk. So.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes. Yeah, thank you for bringing in your family. Congratulations to you coming to Jefferson. I'm just going to point that out, as opposed to any other neighboring systems who I'm sure are just fine. But thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
And the other person that I would like to welcome in a wonderful partnership with EPIC, the Eastern Panhandle Instructional Cooperative, again, feeling very, very blessed to announce our new legal counsel, Ms. Laura Sutton. If you could join me. And Ms. Sutton has her JD from WVU, has over 20 years of experience, not just in law, because we all know West Virginia law sometimes bears no resemblance whatsoever to the law in general. West Virginia school law has practiced in Berkeley and for the last several years in Bowles Rice, and we feel very, very blessed to get her. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, and welcome.
Oh, thank Amy Lauren. Killing it with the recruitment.
So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you. All right, unfinished business. Recommendation of an architect for the T.A. Lowry Major Improvement Project.
I didn't want him to think it that the children could not be released. Run!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
You all have a good night.
Thank
You too.
Good rest of your day.
Blake. Blake is a little bit like his dad. And that's a wonderful thing. Happy to have him aboard. This evening, as you know, November 12th, I came before you to ask that we secure an architect so that we could move forward with our T.A. Lowry Major Improvement Project, which will be the total replacement of an HVAC system this summer. Once we did that, we went out for a statement of qualifications for an architect. We advertised for 2 weeks, and that ended on December 16th. On Monday, January 6th, we interviewed highly qualified firms, and actually Friday, January 10th, I'm sorry. On Tuesday the 14th, we made a selection or a recommendation for you, and then tonight we bring them before you. I bring, I guess, the architect firm that we're recommending before you, and that is OWPR. In the architectural services, which we ask to be provided, we ask that they also do any emergency projects that would be due to fire, water, or weather. As funds become available for non-SBA funded work, we're interested in provisions for architectural and engineering services toward fulfillment of buildings and grounds, additions or upgrades. This is a term contract for 5 years, but it is reevaluated on an annual basis. For you this evening, I have included a couple of attachments. The first attachment is a letter of agreement from the architect for the HVAC equipment replacement. We negotiate a fee when we work with the first architect and with the school building authority who is providing funds on this project. We negotiated a fee with Randy Jones and OWPR of 6.75%. For this project, they could have asked for a max fee of up to 9%. So we feel we have an extremely good rate for you this evening on that project. Additionally, they've included some hourly rates in attachment 2 that you can review for any services that would be outside of the project and fall under a term agreement. The next steps in our major improvement process are going to be to work with the recommended architect to complete the design process. We will be hiring a clerk of the works. We'll be developing a scope and sequence for the project, and then we'll begin a construction development phase, hire an HVAC contractor, set timelines, and enter the construction phase. And then we'll want to wrap that up prior to school starting.
and enter the post-construction phase to complete the projects. If you have any questions for me, I welcome those, and I'm going to recommend to you that we select OWPR for these tasks. I want to also introduce Randy Jones, who's sitting here from OWPR, so if you have any questions for Randy this evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a quick question on page 5, I guess it is. It says, the established budget is, excuse me, $970,000, therefore a fixed fee of $65,475 is anticipated. Is there a cap on the fee at all, or is it just a flat 6 point?
That is the cap.
That is a cap.
That is the cap.
Okay. Just the word anticipated thrown in there.
Yeah, we could probably change that. It should be a fixed fee.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Wendy and Gary?
We will have to make some adjustments to our summer school schedule locations. We'll make a work.
And are you asking for action this evening to
I am
approve this?
asking for action to approve OWPR.
Is there a motion to approve the architect of OWPR for the T.A. Lowry Major Improvement Project?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, thank you. Action on approval of policy 4.0 instructional materials.
Come before you this evening to ask for your permission to approve the recommended changes that have been presented for the last 2 weeks to the community. We did not receive any comments, but we were pretty much just coming in alignment with the state policy, so we did not receive any comments.
Right. Is there a motion to approve policy 4.0 on instructional materials?
So moved.
Second? Second. Any comments or discussion?
I just appreciate the fact that somebody's taking the time to go through all these policies and make sure they're updated and, the way they should be, so it's nice, thank you very much.
Alright. All in favor of policy 4.0 instructional materials? Opposed? Thank you. 12C, approval of critical needs policy.
Good evening. We have the critical needs policy. I put a hard copy in front of you this evening for discussion and your approval on the policy. We did not receive any public comments on it. The only feedback we received is just a wonky sentence that is in the last sentence of section B on the first page. It just kind of rewords that because it was pretty wonky. Provided that in no case shall a retired teacher be employed in a position of need where there is an individual who is qualified, not retired, and who will accept the substitute assignment. So that's the essence of the reason for the policy. So it clears it up a little bit. And that was it.
Is there a motion to approve the critical needs policy?
So moved.
Second? Any other questions or discussion?
I just think it's not gonna work. Anybody that is
qualified that retires in Jefferson County can jump across 3 different county lines, keep their money they're gonna make when they retire, and get full pay in another county. So it might, in a lot of counties in the state, it might work, but it isn't gonna work for us, I don't think.
Ms. Lauren, do you have any comments or anything?
Haven't been here long enough to see it, but I know we are able to utilize it in one instance right now. We do have a retiree who is fulfilling a role where we don't have a qualified candidate for it who is on our substitute list already. So we have one person at the moment. And wouldn't be able to work the whole school year if we didn't get it approved.
Well, I guess one teacher is better than no teacher, so.
Absolutely, yes, that's correct.
So all in favor of approving the critical needs policy?
Aye.
Opposed?
And hopefully we wouldn't have to use it, but
Right.
that would be the goal, not to use it, but just in case it's an insurance policy.
Thank you. All right, new business, request approval for an RFP for the Ransom Elementary School roof.
This evening, we do want to request approval for the Ransom Elementary School roof. This is a partial replacement. It's not an entire replacement of the roof. It is the north section of the roof, and the reason for the replacement is our assessment of the roof has found numerous large sections where underlying metal decking has extensive deterioration, and there's a few sections where the decking is rusted. And so due to these conditions, we're going to need to remove the roof, get underneath it, replace the decking, and then put the roof back on. That is the reason for the request for proposal. This would take place during the next school year. We would begin so that we could have roof replacement over the summer, and by the time the students come back to school, we would be able to have it completely finished. I have put before you this evening a roof replacement schedule. It's a 21-year schedule. Of course, based on catastrophic need, amount of leaks, lack of structural support, or the need to replace roof in sections such as this, rather than entire schools, that could change. It's a fluid document, but Brandon and I want to have some kind of schedule so you kind of see what we have assessed so far. I know Brandon uses, and I know in the past they have used an assessment tool that's very good, that can use technology that can spot water leaks. The best thing I think we can do for our roofs is do a good amount of maintenance and predictive types of things where we can see where the leaks are and kind of catch those leaks to make the lives of our roofs longer. That would be our goal. So I am asking for action to go out on an RFP for the north section of the Ransom Elementary School roof, if you don't have any questions.
All right, is there a motion to go out for an RFP for the Ransom Elementary School roof? Second? Any questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. All right. Action on approval of discussion and consideration of the realignment policy to be placed on public review.
This evening we're asking for discussion and consideration to place the realignment policy for Jefferson County Schools on public review. This is in response to House Bill 206 in the last legislative session, where changes were made to counties and their RIF and transfer process. The policy has several sections in red. It wasn't necessarily notating any changes, just additions to our policy that didn't previously exist. And then part of the House Bill 206 was the requirement that we needed to define qualifications as what was included in the legislative changes. So that is the reason for the policy and for any changes that were made to it.
Thank you. Is there a motion to put the realignment policy out for public review? Second? Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. All right. Before we go into executive session this evening, I would like to just take a moment of silence for one of the students that we lost recently, Mr. Hunter Muse. So if you would just join me for just a moment. Thank you. When a tragedy happens to one student or one family in this community, it seems to really touch and affect so many that it's tragic. But thank you for taking a moment. Is there a motion to go into executive session for personnel, legal, of student discipline and legal, and personnel? Okay, and do we anticipate action?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you.